a world ruled by power, Sung Jin-Woo was born with none. When the gates first opened, the world split into two kinds of people, hunters and the hunted. Those gifted with strength became heroes, those without became casualties. And among them stood Jin-Woo, the weakest hunter alive, a man whose name was whispered not in respect, but pity. No one knew that within this fragile, trembling man was a god waiting to awaken. This is the story of how a man stripped of all power, all pride, and all mercy rose from the darkness to become something more than human. This is the evolution of the Shadow Monarch. Sung Jin-Woo was the kind of man people forgot existed. He wasn't born strong or smart or lucky. Every dungeon run was a gamble with death. Hunters mocked him, teammates avoided him, and hospital bills piled higher than his confidence. Yet, every time, he came back. Not because of courage, but because of duty. His mother lay dying, trapped in a coma. His sister depended on him. The only thing he had left was the will to keep fighting, even when the fight was hopeless. It was that quiet defiance, that refusal to die, that drew the attention of something far greater. Because fate does not choose the strong, it chooses the desperate. It started like any other low-rank raid, a team of hunters clearing a C-rank gate. But when they entered the hidden chamber, everything changed. The statues didn't just stand there. They watched. They moved. What began as routine became ritual, a sacrifice. The cursed double dungeon became Jin-Woo's crucible. He watched his friends die, one by one, to impossible gods of stone. He was left broken, bleeding, crawling, and still he refused to give up. When the temple demanded faith, he knelt. When it demanded sacrifice, he gave his body. When it demanded death, he smiled. If I survive this, I'll never be weak again. And then, the system awoke. A voice spoke from the void. You have been chosen. That day, Sung Jin-Woo didn't just escape death. He was reborn. The system wasn't a gift, it was a curse disguised as salvation. Leveling up, healing, growing stronger, it felt intoxicating. But every quest, every monster, demanded blood. His humanity was the cost of his evolution. As he grew, the world began to fear him. Hunters who once mocked him now trembled in his presence. Dungeons that once devoured him now fell silent at his command. And from the corpses of his enemies came his army. The shadows. Each shadow wasn't just a soldier, it was a memory. Igris, the knight who fell with honor. Iron, the beast who died protecting others. Beru, the monster reborn as family. Jin-Woo didn't just summon them, he remembered them. His power wasn't built on dominance, it was built on grief. Every shadow he raised was a silent apology to the lives he couldn't save. But power has a hunger, and the more he fed it, the more it demanded. Slowly, Jin-Woo's reflection began to change. The man who once feared death now delivered it like a god. Deep beneath the system's illusion, something ancient stirred. The shadows didn't serve him, they remembered someone else. The Shadow Monarch, Ashborn, the king of the dead, had chosen his successor, and Jin-Woo, unknowingly, walked the path to godhood. He fought monarchs, slaughtered kings, and bent the world to his will. His body broke, his mind shattered, but his resolve remained absolute. When the world teetered between destruction and salvation, Jin-Woo made the ultimate choice: to embrace the shadow within. The moment he merged with Ashbourne, Jin-Woo ceased to be human. He was no longer a hunter. He was the hunted god. The Shadow Monarch, ruler of death, protector of life. Yet even as he stood above gods and men, one truth haunted him. Power means nothing when there's no one left to share it with. With infinite strength came infinite loneliness. Sung Jin-Woo could command armies, rewrite time, reshape destiny, but he could not bring back the people he'd lost. When the final battle ended, he was victorious, but empty. The echoes of war faded, and only silence remained. And in that silence, he finally understood. The true purpose of power isn't dominance, it's mercy. Jin-Woo turned back time not for conquest, but for redemption, to give humanity a second chance, to carry the burden of their sins so they could live without them. In doing so, he fulfilled the true role of a god, not one who demands worship, but one who protects even when unseen. The boy who was once too weak to stand became the god who knelt to save others. That is Sung Jin-Woo's divinity, not in his strength, but in his choice. From the weakest hunter to the shadow that guards the light, Sung Jin-Woo didn't rise to power. He descended into it and found peace in the dark. Maybe that's the real lesson of solo leveling, that even gods are born from suffering, and that sometimes the only way to find yourself is to lose everything first.